Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome back to this Astrology, Human Design, and Gene Keys channel. And I'm here again today with my sisters in our soul tribe. So I'm here with Cindy, Adriana, and Sarah. And we have a special series that we are prepared for you today. And that is the North Node in the Signs series. So I've made a video on my channel, I think about maybe a few years ago, on North Node through the houses, but I haven't really done a series on North Node through the signs. So we thought we will be doing this together this year. So before we get started, we just want to let you guys know as well that we are also creating content together on Instagram. So if you're interested in getting more content from us, then links are in the description box below. You can follow us on Instagram there as well. All right, so today we're going to be talking about the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra. But first, we'd like to give you an interpretation of the North and South nodes and what is the meaning of the North and South node in general. So what do you guys have for us today? What do you want to share about the interpretation of the North and South node?
Yeah, I love this topic. I've learned so much about it and looking from different perspectives. When I look at a chart, I usually go with a plus sign and a subtraction sign. So the subtraction sign would be the South node, and the plus sign would be the North node. And the point of the nodes is just to balance the energy in between. So you're not supposed to go either way too much, right? So with the South node, there's something that you came into this life with, some types of gifts, something that you kind of naturally do. But there's also some discomfort there because you're, being pushed towards your North node. And your North node is something that you're supposed to exercise and experiment. So it's a little bit uncomfortable, but it's in that exercise that you can balance the points and find the middle ground. Now, there's other perspectives like the Vedic philosophy perspective, which I very much enjoy. It's a little bit more drastic. Maybe they're right. It's the head and the tail of the dragon. So at the tail we have Ketu, and that's the South node. And it's a tail, so it runs, but it goes nowhere. And on the other hand, we have Rahu, and it's kind of a maleficent kind of energy because you'll lose your head over things. So again, there's this idea that you have to glue these energies, to balance these energies, to achieve a kind of sense of purpose in life, and like you're completing something in this life. So it's a very interesting calculation in our charts.
Yeah, I like to add there as well that sometimes I look at the South Node as well as being an ancestral karma or something that has been there kind of in your family lineage. And you're kind of here to, we can say, heal from that or offer a kind of new perspective or a new way of handling things that is coming from your family's past. And integrating the North Node to help balance off the karma of your family. That's another way that I look at it as well.
Yes, and I would also say the North Node is like a shortcut, basically, as I understand it. If you want to reach or gain more fulfillment, then you can use the themes of your North Node to get deeper into aligning your soul, basically. But on the other side, for some people, the North Node is coming quite easily. So then maybe they have to go back to the South Node and have to check in with some themes that are happening over there.
Yeah, so let's move into the North Node in Aries then, and what it means to have this North Node. And do you want to start with the South Node in Libra and kind of that first before the North Node in Aries? Okay, so how would you guys interpret having a South Node in Libra?
No, not doing well with entering Libra. Yeah. It's a transit, by the way. But South Node in Libra is coming into this life with this just harmonious type of vibe. I mean, that's what I get from living with someone that has South Node in Libra. People like him. It's so easy to get along with someone who has South Node in Libra because they're really good at handling people, and it's their comfort zone to be around people. However, you can get stuck with relying on partnerships to your evolution. So it's kind of doing things on your own. It's very intimidating. So you stay there where it feels good dealing with others.
Yeah, and I wanted to say here as well that it could be that with the South Node in Libra, maybe you came from like a family situation where your family kind of valued you asking them for feedback on something rather than you deciding something with your instinct and your gut. So if you did that, maybe they were like, well, you should ask us first, get feedback. And that kind of was a kind of habit that came in with the family. And maybe that's even something that's coming in from your ancestors, is this idea of feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's a theme of developing self-reliance, and we're going to move into that when we talk about Aries. But yeah, there's in this desire for other people to feel comfortable or for there to be harmonious relationships, one might struggle with asserting their own desires above those of others. So that because Libra is ruled by Venus, and so there's that Venusian desire for there to be beauty and no disruption to that.
Yeah, I would say like it's okay like if you have the South Node and you're like you desire beauty, you desire harmony, but there's a balance on the other end. Mm-hmm. There's this there comes a point when you seek harmony to the point of people pleasing and neglecting your own instinct, your own gut. That's the Aries. So that's when it can be a little bit unhealthy with the South Node.
Also, when you're getting too concerned what other people are thinking about you. I mean, because for Libra, I think it's really important that they are being liked. So it's good on the other side to have an Aries, what we're going to talk about later.
Yeah, I think one key element here, and if I had to give an advice for someone who has South Node in Libra, is take advantage of your negotiation skills. So to move forward, you have to understand that if you see value in other people, well, you also have it. So in that transaction, level the scale. So know your worth within the relationships and learn to negotiate, because that will come naturally and will help you move forward towards that and Aries energy.
Yeah, I have an interesting example, and I just want to be absolutely certain that I'm correct about this. But Will Smith has South Node in Libra. Yeah. Fifth house, South Node in Libra. And I was thinking about his relationship with his wife and how they are actually open to one another in extramarital relationships. Not that I think that they're actively doing that in this moment, but they're just open to that being an idea. And it's, for their own desires, but also to be holding space for their partner to experiment with that. So that's an interesting way to use your ability to compromise is, well, if you're gonna do it.
Yeah, I like that example, because it's like true diplomacy is this idea of bringing things that may contradict each other out onto the table and then making it not contradict in some ways, or understanding that it can contradict, but there's going to be a give and take here and there for things to kind of work. But then again, your values come into play here, because you want to give and take, but you don't want to give and take that so you compromise your values in that sense either. Yeah. So do you guys want to move into the North Node in Aries then? So what is this, kind of soul mission, this balance to this South Node in Libra? energy?
I think with the Libra South Node, so they're becoming naturally more self-confident and courageous throughout their lifetime, as we said, until they come to the point, or they reach the point of this Aries North Node, which has like this initiating energy, I would say. Like they bring their energy out there, their ideas and inspiration, and they're here to act on them. So I guess this is like, it is a good thing that they have here, like with all this initiating energy, they still have the Libra energy, which is like the peacemaker by default, which is beautiful.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned courage or initiation as one of the first things here, because I just want to bring a bit of human design in here, because it's so interesting how when you look at the gates that are Libra gates in human design, they're all in the spleen. So when I first, the energy center of the spleen in the body graph, when I first saw this, I was like, wow, that's interesting. Why is Libra like just here in the spleen? And the spleen is like this center that has to do with your fears as well. So it's almost like once you can kind of figure out what kind of fears you have in your life and work through those fears, that's when the courage, that's when the bravery can really come through. So there's this moving away, deconditioning from your fears that leads to that Aries North Node of being brave and courageous, like Cindy said.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry. I just wanted to add to 10, like all the skills of the spleen, like gate 50, the nurturing aspect, taking responsibility, going back in the past and see what works and what didn't, finding the meaning of life, like all of this is here in Libra. And then we take all of this into the leadership position, let's say.
Yeah, it's like it's not easy to be a leader or to take initiative. There's a lot of, fears and shadow work that you have to do. Yeah.
I was going to add that's that really deep-seated fear that humans have as being ostracized, being cast out from the rest. And of course, that's like a deep-seated fear with Libra, because partnership is really key. And so being isolated, being the one that is cast out, it may take an Aries to be able to survive that, to okay, well, I guess I'm going to pick up and what I like about Aries, Robert Hand in his book Horoscope Symbols says that Aries leads for the sake of not being told what to do. It's not to be a leader, like, Leo wants to be seen in this light of have respect and, but Aries is just like, I just want to do what I want. So I really like that energy with as a counter to, I want people to like me. This is like, I don't care.
Yeah. And there's this idea, this concept, with this Aries energy of being the author of your own life, like writing the story of your own life is what Sarah's really talking about here. It's like, it's not the Leo leadership where I want to lead I'm going to be the alpha to lead my pack. It's like, I want to write the story of my own life. I want to be unique and different and independent. And I want people to read that story, kind of like that energy. So I think there's also, with the South Node in Libra, one of the fears here is also like the fear to become that author. So you can kind of like hide behind certain systems and hide behind certain organizations or community, whatever it is, just so that you don't have to be in the front or be so unique and different. And then there's this deconditioning of those fears so that you become the author of your own life, your own book.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Being bold is something that, in standing, hit the table sometimes with your hand, something really triggering for Libra energy. But sometimes doing that is being diplomatic. Diplomacy, it's not all about, okay, let me see your point, I'll tell you mine. And that, if that is exhausted, there's no end to it, right? So sometimes you have to do it on your own and just, accept that you can live your own truth and embody that. And it's very triggering. And it's, when this South Node person tries this, it's going to feel out of touch or something that does not fit them. But once they're doing it, they're coming in with that ability to listen to other perspectives, but also standing for their own.
Yeah, because Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is that planet that does represent our anger. And I feel like sometimes when the Northern Aries person is sort of figuring out, what to do with their anger, yes, it can kind of maybe lead to that seeming a bit aggressive or, too assertive. But at some point, it's like you can be assertive and even be aggressive, but you don't have to be violent. So there's like, that learning point that comes in.
Yes, the example of Will Smith comes to mind again.
Yeah.
I was going to mention inspired action, but not using that example. You want this leader in your life. You want this leader that comes from having so many conversations and having to deal with so many negotiations, and now this person has decided to come forward with something. So you will trust this leader. So if you have these placements in your chart, go with the flow and try this new thing that is trusting your instinct.
Yeah. I think it's important to add to what Adriana's saying is that you have that instinct because of that South Node Libra. And so it's like when it feels strange in your tummy, reflect on that and like get in the body and as opposed to being in the head and just going forward with whatever it is that, is making you feel a little uneasy, because sometimes Aries really capitalizes on that fear. It's like, ooh, this is exciting, feeling you can't tell the difference between butterflies and your body being like, this is not a good idea. So just, being able to get back in the body and reflect, because, you can Libra is an air sign, so it's very mental. It's very much, coming back and I think that mental, now that you're bringing up that example for human design, is like that is intuition. It's your body speaking to you in this different kind of way than what the mind does. So
Yeah, I think I want to keep in mind with like when we come back to human design is that it is said that you should never make decisions from your mind in human design. You should always make it from your intuition. And so Libra being an air sign, which is about the mental realm. Yes, it can be mental, and being mental is useful and helpful in a lot of things, but it's not there to help you make decisions in your life. As this Libra, Aries, North Node, and South Node, it's really so much about embodiment and so much about the physicality of things. Even Libra is like this sensual embodiment, and Aries is like this physical, energetic body thing. So you have both of these, and so whatever it is that spending more time to do both of these things would be like super important, and not having one more than the other, but like having them in balance is super important for this North and South Node.
Yes, I once heard I don't remember who, but I remember they were saying like action is the antidote to despair. And I think this is like reflecting the Aries North Node so well, but always trying to remember to implement the characteristics and like the advantages of the Libra sign as well here into your action.
Yeah, because there can also be a bit of an obsession with the North Node. And of course here, there may just be this obsession with being independent. There may be so much obsession with like, I got to be a pioneer, I got to be different, I got to be unique, that you kind of neglect your partner, your relationships for that. And so to soften as well as you're on this path to independence. Yes, you're on this path of being a pioneer, being independent, but do it softly, as you're going through that path. Do it with concern. And for some Aries North Node or North Node people, maybe take feedback. It depends on where you are on the spectrum. If you're like very South Node, then like let go of some feedback. If you're very North Node, take some feedback from time to time. So yeah. So do we have anything that we want to add at this point? Any last messages for people with North Node and Aries?
I like this quote, balance your assertiveness.
being selfish is sometimes the path to self-love. So just kind of understanding that sometimes it's okay to be selfish as long as you are not, stepping on other people on the way or hurting anybody on your path. It's a part of how you can love yourself. And if you could love yourself, sometimes that's then the foundation for how you can love others. You can't really love others without loving yourself. And sometimes you can't really love yourself without understanding that it's okay to be selfish. Okay, well, that's it for our video today on the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra. So yes, if you guys are watching this and you have this North and South Node, then feel free to comment below and let us know what your experiences have been. And if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you haven't. If you already subscribed, then thank you very much, beautiful souls, for coming along on our astrology, human design, Gene Keys journey. I will also leave a link in the description box below to all of our Instagrams. So Adriana and Sarah and Cindy's individual Instagram account if you want to connect with them or get to know them a little bit more. And of course, also our joint platform on Instagram as well, because we are producing content there together. All right, so that's it for today, and we'll see you in the next video on the North Node in Taurus. Bye.
Bye.